Hey, everybody, welcome to the channel. Hey, so today we're going to talk about how to use Neville's work and the work of Neville Goddard to help you either get an SP, get your SP back, but really, and most importantly, and fundamentally, to really embrace self-love. Now, first and foremost, I tend to be very skeptical about this idea of self love. Okay. Self love is kind of woo woo and it's way out there and it's all about, oh, well, I just want to feel good about myself. And that's where I think we really fail when we try to understand that self love is just feeling good about yourself. Because remember, feeling good, in as much as it feels good to feel good, right? There's more to it because feeling good is very different and less powerful than I love myself. Okay. So I don't really like to use the word self love sometimes because we have this really kind of gooey woo woo side of what it means to love yourself. To love yourself means to grow. To love yourself means that you have everything you've ever needed and will ever need while you're alive. Whatever that is, it doesn't matter what it is. But for the sake of this conversation, let's explore why a lot of people struggle with manifesting either an SP, a new one, or manifesting their SP back. First things first, can you do it? 100%. You can do it. You can. Remember, you are the operant power. Can somebody else do it for you? Sure. But usually you want to get to the point where your confidence is so high that you actually have no doubts in your mind that you can do this yourself, right? So you have to first see that this thing called manifestation, right, is a science and an art. But then it's a lifelong science and a lifelong art. Those are two different things. They are related, but they're both different perceptive lenses, which I'm going to go into in a different video. But for this video, this is all about the special person, the significant other. Okay, so let's jump into, I think, why people fail. Okay, one is just going to be a general tool and tip that you can use with any manifestation. But Neville says that sometimes when we fail in our manifestations, it's due to intensity. Okay, but intensity of what? Intensity of more details in your scene, right? Actually giving that table a brand name or the sweater that you're wearing a brand name. Or is it something deeper? Well, here's the thing. He explains this in many different places, but intensification has to do with your feeling of the wish fulfilled. Okay. Now, for me, as a scientist, my brain goes straight to, well, what does feeling mean? What does belief mean? Okay. And so feeling doesn't just mean one feeling because feeling in and of itself is generated by other feelings. Okay. So what does that even mean? Well, when you're out hiking, let's say on a trail, okay, you're going to feel awe, maybe, but then you're going to feel another emotion, maybe beauty. You're going to feel maybe this feels like a sense of purpose. All of those are emotions, okay? And I'm going to go into this in another video as well. But to me, there's this verse in scripture that says, the earth and everything in it is the Lord's. Okay? It's in the Old Testament. But what does that even mean? Well, for me, since God or subconscious or the spirit speaks in the language of feeling, then what we are really met with is this idea that every single thing on this place called Earth has an emotional value. Everything. From the color of my hat to the type of hat I wear, to the type of Eddie Bauer sweater I wear, to the table that I have this computer on, whatever it is, it doesn't matter if it's a person, place, or thing, a noun, right? Remember that from school? It doesn't matter. Everything has an emotional value. So usually what you want to do is when Neville is saying either drench your subconscious, which he says to do, but also to intensify, he's talking about intensifying the level of emotion. So it isn't just that you're walking into the room and you see a beautiful woman or guy or however they identify. You are seeing the soul of that person as being congruent to you. They match you, not because you somehow need them out of a state of lack. And I guarantee you, let's stay on that for a second. If you manifest out of lack, you might manifest somebody. But here's the major danger in doing so. They could leave a week later, they could leave 20 years later. right? And so the question is, do I think I need them? If you are manifesting out of a need for somebody else, I guarantee you, and you may not want to hear this, you will eventually fail at manifesting that. And when I say eventually, I'm not arguing that you could manifest them. But when the failure comes, that's a matter of time. Okay. So what you want to do is that you want to work on a strong self concept. Really, what we need to do is to know how to build that self concept. And I share a little bit more of that in one of my other shorter videos. But in this one, I think it's important because we're exploring what it means to manifest from a strong self concept. So, again, this could be used just to manifest anything. But what I find, especially in a lot of different communities from Facebook to Reddit, is people just use the word self concept, but with no deeper understanding of what is going on and why things can manifest, and then you end up losing it. So, what a self concept is our self image. But a self image isn't just a self image, and a self image is an identity. But an identity is not just an identity. Okay, it is a collection of things. Even Neville breaks it down, but it's a collection of beliefs, emotions, and memories. Beliefs, emotions, and memories. And again, use this technique in any way that you see fit. But everything has a certain set of beliefs, not belief, not a single belief, a belief that are reinforced by other beliefs. Those are also reinforced by emotions. Not one emotion, emotions. Then those are also reinforced by memories, not memory, memories. Okay? That means when we are doing the deep work, and this is what it is for me. To me, this is a lifelong thing. This isn't something that you use just to get things, okay? That this is a lifestyle. All right. But what you end up with is this deep work challenge of, okay, what are the series of beliefs? Okay. So let's bring us back to the SP, to the special person, to the significant other. Okay. So if you are trying to get someone, okay, in your life, whatever it is, you're trying to manifest, and maybe you don't care, maybe you have somebody specific in mind, okay? But either, whatever it is, if you have grown up in an environment where there was violence, or where the father was distant, or where the mother was distant, or the mother was involved in some drug habit, or whatever it is, whatever childhood memories you have had, even if none of those are part of your own experience, and you think you had a normal upbringing, I guarantee you there will be limiting beliefs there. Okay? And it will be in how you either treat the other person or how they're meant to treat you and how you're meant to play that role that allows them to treat you a certain way, and so on and so forth. But then you also have culture. That's why I said beliefs. Culture is, hey, everybody should always get married and you shouldn't get divorced. And men should treat women this way and women should treat men this way, and so on and so forth. And so we have these sometimes conflicting beliefs that are either fighting against each other, or we have beliefs that don't really serve us. So you might be in a relationship where you feel like you need to be the enabler, where you might feel like, okay, you know what, they're angry, so I need to actually step back and actually just let them be angry at me and I'll be the scapegoat and so on. So maybe you've learned that somewhere, either in your past relationships or most likely in your childhood. Okay. Most of us have what are called schemas. Okay. That's from the work of Jean Piaget, the developmental psychologist. And he says everybody will have a schema, a map of the world, how they are in the world, how they relate to things in the world, how they define things in the world, how those things are defining them, and so on and so forth. Okay? That's all of us, every human. Okay? So you have to go and do the deep work of discovering what those limiting beliefs are. Okay? And so then you use that as a way to reverse engineer, right? Reverse engineer the model of who you want to be. So if you grew up in an environment where you learned that to make a relationship work was that you had to be, like I said, the enabler, right? You had to be the scapegoat. You're going to play that in every single relationship until you change that self concept, right? Until you change the self concept to I'm equal and I deserve to be treated as an equal, right? So notice though, notice what that is. You're coming from a state of lack if you don't fix that. That means there's a part of you that will play out that role. And you may even actually be in a marriage for 50, 60 years and you'll play the role of enabler. In fact, you may play that role until you die. But the reality is that you can use the law to heal and revise those childhood memories, right? And that's what you want to do. Revision is very powerful, and revision isn't just changing your perspective on a past event. According to Neville, it's changing the very substance of the event. It's changing you and the people in it. Yes, changing them as well, right? And so what you're doing is you're using revision to change that childhood memory, which then has a knock-on effect of changing you, right? But then what you do is you go in and you live out the life of that person in your imagination. And yes, you can do that in 3D as well. Right as soon as you leave that imaginary scene, start living the life of that person. Okay? Why? Because that creates a cohesive, romantic, intimate connection between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind. Okay? So you want to do this. You want to be able to break down those limiting barriers in your mind. One, because you just don't deserve them. And the person that you want to fall in love with, or you want them to fall in love with you, doesn't deserve them either, right? You both deserve love, okay? Not lack. But if you're coming from this from a sense of urgency, that's lack. If you're coming from a I need mentality, that's lack. If you're coming from I can't live without, that's lack, right? If you're coming from I find my purpose in them, that's lack. Okay, you can find ways to romanticize it and make it feel good and make it feel like, no, what he's saying is completely wrong and I completely disagree and I feel good about it. Okay, that's great, but you will only get what you believe. And so what do you believe? Do you believe that you deserve the best person who loves you and is head over heels in love with you, but also you reciprocate it? Why not have equality? Why not have both of you head over heels in love with each other? But to do that, you have to come from a state of being head over heels in love with yourself. And I know that sounds cheesy. And I'm like I've shared before, I'm really against the idea of this woo-woo side of self-love. Because to me, that doesn't really get to the crux, to the core, to the depth of what it means to be a person who is head over heels in love with themselves. How much time do you spend with yourself? How much time do you take care of yourself? How much time do you value yourself? How much time do you take to actually build up a strong self concept that, by the way, isn't just here and now, but that also wants to grow? Your self concept is meant to be growing from glory to glory, Neville says, right? From level to level. That's the idea that he's getting at, right? Our self concept is meant to grow. And you're meant to grow with the other person. And if you're with a person who isn't really helping you or who isn't spurring you on, then why be with them? Can you change them? Yes, of course you can. And I'm not saying don't use the law to do that. But at the same time, if you're in a relationship where you are demanding that somebody changes from the outside in, then you're still in lack, right? So really, really build out a strong self concept. Take the time to actually celebrate yourself, right? Because you deserve to be celebrated and you can celebrate yourself alone. So here is a tip, and I could keep going on this. In fact, I may have a 2-hour session on this. Once I get to 50 subscribers, I can go live. So that's a challenge to you. Get me there, and we'll spend a couple hours together on a Q&A. Okay? But what I want to challenge you to do is to actually spend time not only scripting and writing out your scenes, and you should choose 3 to 5 scenes with 3 to 5 feelings of the wish fulfilled. For the very same reason that I shared that a self-concept is more than one emotion, more than one belief, and more than one memory. Right? You're creating new memories, essentially. You are the architect of your brain and mind, and you're creating a new person with your memories, emotions, and beliefs. That's what you deserve. You will always hear me say that because you have to come from a state of deserving, right? That is where your power lies. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to have an SP who loves me. I deserve to have an SP who I'm married to. I deserve to have an SP who celebrates me, and so on and so forth, right? Now, create those scenes. So that's one tip. But then two, just stay. Imagine what that feeling is. Sometimes if you struggle with the visualization, don't worry about that. Bask, drench, soak yourself up in those 3 to 5 emotions, right? Make sure one of them is nostalgia. Okay? So why? Because it's a memory that's already happened. You're already with that person. Then, and here's another technique. This is a very powerful one. Okay? So Neville uses the word persist. Okay? The Bible uses the word persevere. All right? So you persist, but I don't like that word because people have overused it and misunderstood it. So what does it mean from the Greek and the Hebrew? There's an everywhereness to this. And what does that even mean? Right? There's like, oh, that's cool. That sounds like a bumper sticker on the back of a car. No. Persistence from the biblical perspective literally means that you are taking your end desire everywhere you go. You go to Disneyland, even if you're single right now, and you go to Disneyland, whether it be alone or with your friends, although alone may look creepy. But if you go with your friends, imagine he or she's there with you. If you're going to the store to buy some groceries and you're alone, no, you're not. They're with you. Are you in the car driving to work alone? No, they're with you. I mean, that maybe seem weird unless you have a good relationship with your boss. But what you want to do is you want to build out persistence. But persistence doesn't just mean I'm sticking to it, right? That's part of it, but that isn't all of it. All of it is I'm I'm rich everywhere I go. I have a loving relationship everywhere I go. I have my SP who I'm married to everywhere, right? I see them everywhere, right? And so build these practices into your daily routine. Get up, spend 15, 20 minutes, spend an hour, spend 2 hours, as much time as you can. If it's 7 minutes, spend 7 minutes, right? It doesn't matter. Be vigilant. Why? Because you deserve this person to celebrate you. You deserve this person to be in love with you. But you have to be in love with yourself. You will only manifest out of this self concept of deserving somebody who loves you by deserving to love yourself, by actually doing the work of deserving to love yourself. Okay? That may take a day. That may take 6 months. Don't put time on it. Just work on the process of falling in love with yourself. And I guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, that you will manifest whoever it is that you want in your life. They will show up. I promise you that.